Hey, Lowco football fans, welcome to our Lowco Pigskin preview for Week 9. Crazy to think that we just have 2 weeks left in the regular season. It feels like we're just starting up with Week 0 not too long ago, but here we go down the stretch in this 2022 high school football regular season. I'm Wes Kerr, joined by Dylan Price. And Dylan, it was an intriguing Week 8. Let's look back at the scores from last week, starting with the South Carolina High School League in Region 748, May River taking down Colleton County 48-7. Not too surprising later. The Sharks rolling against the Cougars. James Island over Bluffton 56-10. It was close at halftime, but Trojans right now on top of the region, finding their footing after the break and running up the score there 56-10. Lucy Beckham gets past Hilton Head 19-17. Solid out from the Seahawks on the road, but just falling short to the Bengals as Lucy Beckham improves to 2-1 with a big time region win. Hanahan over Battery Creek 38-7. Creek falls to 1-2 in their region. Barnwell showing why they're one of the top ranked teams in Class 2A. They take down Ridgeland easily 56-6. Woodland with a nice win over Wade Hampton. Solid effort there by the Red Devils. Woodland wins 21-14. A really fun matchup there in 2A. And then Whale Branch getting right against Allendale Fairfax 21-0. Impressive shutout win against an Allendale Fairfax team that has been giving some people trouble these past 2 weeks. So especially some injury concerns. Solid win from the Whale Branch Warriors. Really like to see that from them. And I think they'll be a force even with some guys still on the bench looking to return from injury. I still think they'll be dangerous in the postseason. And Estill, what a year they have had so far. They're certainly looking like a Class 1A state title contender. They take down Branchville 50-12 and improve to 7-1 on the season, 3-0 in region play. And then going over to Skeeza, I was at this one. What a game between Buford Academy and Thomas Hayward. Devontae Green with the go-ahead touchdown with just 40 seconds left as the Eagles top Thomas Hayward 31-27 and a fantastic game. Buford Academy, a huge bounce back win for them, and BA now set up for another key showdown this week at home. We'll get to that later. JP2 all over Northwood, 43-6. Good get right game for the Golden Warriors. Pinewood Prep, 48. Hilton Head Prep 7. Really tough season for Dustin Etheridge and the Dolphins. They fall to 0-7. PD Academy holds off Hilton Head Christian. What a game. This could be a preview of a state championship matchup potentially here in Skeeza 3A. PD, a strong effort to start it off. Hilton Head Christian able to battle back, but just fall short. Hudson Spivey and the Eagles taking another fantastic ball game, which has become a great rivalry between these two teams. Then Colleton Prep, what a story now, 8-0 against in this season, and they defeat Carolina Academy 22-0. So what a season so far for the Colleton Prep Warhawks as they just keep the train rolling, and now they'll head to Buford Academy for what could be a region title show. So we'll get to that in a moment. But just your overall impressions on Week 8, Dylan.
I mean, you saw a lot of things that weren't really shocking, but kind of were in the aspect because, PD has a really good team. And for Hilton and Christian to battle back from behind and make it a game, really, that was just a really good showing of what they really can do. And, we've seen this after they rolled off 5 straight wins. And I really do think there's a big possibility that Hilton and Christian can find themselves playing PD again in the state championship as long as the playoff seeding sets out. And then what a win for Buford. They've been taking it from Thomas Hayward for the past 2 years since coming to 11-man. So them just getting it to roll off and get a win over a big program, even though it's a 1A program, it's still a really good program that, plays bigger schools. So that was just a great win for them. And then, Estill is having a great season, They're better last year. They're really making a magical season.
The entire Hampton County area is balling this year.
Yep.
Wade Hampton, Estill, and then Patrick Henry we'll talk about in a bit over there in Skeeza. So it's a great season over there in Hampton County, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen with those Hampton County Hurricanes next year when Estill and Wade Hampton join forces. But let's jump right into this Week 9 slate. Let's start with the South Carolina High School League and what's looking like the matchup of the week, and I will be there in Bluffton. It is the hometown showdown. The Bluffton Bobcats heading into May River. Bluffton at 1-2 in region play, and the Sharks at 2-1. This is a massive game with tons of implications on the line for the postseason. And Bluffton, a tough stretch after that big win at Hilton Head, but what an opportunity to bounce back, pick up another rivalry victory. From what I've been hearing, it looks like Trace Hillman will be ready to play. It doesn't look like Max von Hohenstraten will, but still a possibility that he could be back, and that could be absolutely massive if they do get von Hohenstraten, their starting quarterback, back in the game. But Hillman has shown that he can carry the load, and what a job that he did against Hilton Head to bring the Bobcats back. So, but May Rither, a very stout defense and a heck of a ground game led by Jaden Jones. So it looks like May River does have the edge, but it's easy to throw out the records when you get to a rivalry game like that. I think it's anyone's to take here in May River.
Yeah, and for Bluffton, anytime you're playing with a backup quarterback, even though he might be the same skill level, it's a little different. I've had to do it countless of times. It's not as much as everything's rolling right. Some things might go wrong. So if they do get their quarterback back, that's great for them. I can really see them trying to pull off a win right here. And then May River has had a ground rushing attack for years that has been really good. So yeah, I really expect to see May River to run the ball really well here.
May River's trying to maintain grasp of the 2 seed. They beat Lucy Beckham, so they have the head-to-head advantage with them, which is absolutely huge. Bluffton trying to hang on to that top 4 seed. They have the advantage over Hilton Head. They beat the Seahawks head-to-head, so a lot at stake in terms of region standings. You want to be in that top 4 spot to guarantee yourself of a playoff berth in Region 7-4A and in the South Carolina School League lower state for Class 4A. And so, but yeah, Trace likely to play. It's still possible that Max returns, and he is making progress in recovery, which is good to see. But Greg, he has a lot to trust in Hillman, but certainly it's going to be tough against a May River defense that's playing very well. The Bobcats, you look to see them rely on those short passes to your playmakers, Jalen Linder, Kamari Simmons. You want to get those guys touches and look to use your speed to the advantage and get to the outside. Look to just try to jet through those linebackers who have been so tough for May River and take some shots when the time is right. May not see as much of that with Hillman versus von Hohenstraten, but Hillman, he showed off his arm in that Hilton Head comeback. So I wouldn't be surprised if, when the time is right, he's going to throw one down the field and see if he can hook up with one of those explosive targets in Linder or Simmons. So, I still think this team is high in Hillman. I think they believe in him after what he did in that rivalry win over Hilton Head. When you do that, overcome a large deficit on the road, coming in as a backup to beat your rival Hilton Head, you get all the trust in the world. And I think Hillman is going to respond once again for more adversity after a couple of tough losses and then look to get back in win column and lock up another rivalry win. But, May River, they're so good when they get the lead. Can they use that tough defense? And if they score early, use that methodical drive with that run game, they can do a great job just sitting on the lead and just grind you down. And that's going to be tough for Bluffton if May River can kind of use that game script to their advantage and look to melt the clock and just grind it out with Jaden Jones in that run game. And Tanner Mason's been able to carry the ball as well and under center. He's really improved as a quarterback. And so, Bluffton needs to show that they can stop the run. They had trouble doing it against Troy Timko and the Seahawks, but, they were able to get some key stops late, so they'll have to produce on the line. I haven't picked this game yet. Not sure who I will pick, but, having Max back, if they get him, would be absolutely huge for Bluffton. Certainly not a guarantee, but, I'm thinking this May River D will step up and have a big day. But I don't underestimate what Hillman can do under center. He's a capable quarterback. He can make some throws. We saw that against the Seahawks and certainly could see it again. But, I think the Sharks know how much this one means. They should run the ball well, get at that Bluffton defense quickly. And if they get a lead, they should grind you down, make it tough for you to come back. Although, Bluffton can still – they have the athletes to score on any play. They have the explosive ability. So Bluffton's never rounded it, but I do think May River has the advantage at home. And I probably will take the Sharks in this one. But, going to be a great rivalry battle and excited to go out and see this one on Friday night. So lots to the line with the playoff seeding, and same for James Allen and Hilton Head in that same region. Hilton Head, a very tough loss. They've had some heartbreakers this year in region play. They lost to Bluffton overtime, then they fall to Lucy Beckham on the road by just 2 points. And give me another challenging one at home against the region leader James Allen, who's looking very good and turned it on against Bluffton last week. So any chance for the Seahawks to pull the upset?
I definitely do, and the game of football, anything can really happen, it doesn't matter how big you are. But for Hilton Head, you would definitely you need this game and you want this game bad. It's always fun playing against the number one seed or the top dog. So I think there's possibilities for Hilton Head to get it rolling and maybe possibly get an upset win over James Allen.
Seahawks 1-2. They picked up a win over Colleton County, but have lost to Bluffton and Lucy Beckham. So opportunity for Hilton Head High to get a statement game if they can find a way to pull this one off against the James Allen team that's been rolling right now through region play. And with Hilton Head's defense, they can give some trouble for anyone. You got Chris Maribal, who just got that Shrine Goal commit. He's committed to play his college football at Wake Forest. He's a dude. And they held Becker to just 19, and they'll make you work for every yard. But to hold down that James Allen multifaceted offense with so many weapons. You got Junior Maxwell and Omar Scott, both averaging north of 8 yards per carry. And the Seahawks they're good against the run, but the big challenge will be for the secondary to hold down Ushi Ravenel, who has feasted this year downfield. That is going to be a matchup problem, and we'll see if the Seahawks can find someone that can perform in that matchup. So definitely going to be a challenge for the Seahawks defense, and gonna have to get production from Troy Timko on the ground, and he's had a fantastic year. Just coming in, taking over what Chase McCracken did last year, and he's maybe even look better than McCracken did. And the offensive line is going to have to open up some holes against a James Allen front that they've allowed just to combine 17 points to the opposition in 3 region games. That's big time stuff. So Kanoan Bays, Andrew Jackson Bobby, and BJ Payne, this team has trust in both guys, and they'll play both guys in one game, and they'll mix up the looks and it'll make the defense kind of have to defend against both quarterbacks. Can one of them make some big throws, or maybe both of them to move the sticks? And they've got a heck of a downfield target in Riley McCracken, who's a playmaker in every sense of the word, and can look to match that production of Ravenel, tall, strong, athletic wide receiver. So it's a tough matchup back at home. Going to need a lot to go right for the Seahawks, and look for them to try to shorten the game and kill some clock with Troy Timko. If they're able to run the ball and keep the ball from the hands of that explosive James Allen offense. So certainly not the question that Hilton can pull the upset, but it will take some strong execution all the way around for the Seahawks. Then rounding out the Region 7-4A slate this week, Colleton County looking for that first victory in region play. They're 0-3, and they travel to Lucy Beckham at 2-1. So Colleton County, who has had trouble getting it going so far in the region, can this be the week that they try to find things and compete against Lucy Beckham? Going to be a challenge on the road for an offense that really has struggled to pick it up, but we'll see what they can do.
Anytime a team is 1-7, it definitely hurts, but that really and truly it makes you play a little bit harder against any of your opponents. Lucy Beckham has a good team going; they have a good season, being 6-2. Definitely a strong team, and it's going to take a full effort for Colleton to go on the road to get the win, but it's definitely not out of the question.
Yeah, it should be a tough one for Colleton County, but Lucy Beckham's credit to them. They've really bounced back after that tough loss against maybe really allowed 40 points, which is very uncharacteristic of that Lucy Beckham side, but they've been getting it going lately. And for Colleton, Mike Gant, he's an excellent player, great athlete, but getting a tough battle against a Beckham front that has found its groove again. Made some clutch stops in that Hilton Head game on route to that big time win. So I just don't think the Cougars have enough firepower on either side to hang with this Beckham team. So I think Lucy Beckham gets it done over Colleton, and still a chance for. I could definitely see Colleton County competing in that Bluffton game to end the season, and a chance still to sneak in if things break right and the at-large bid is in play. So they're going to have to play very well if they want to hang with Beckham, and then bluffed another shot. So still some chances for that first region win if you're Colleton to just keep battling to the very end if you're the Cougars. Let's go down to Class 3A, and the Beaufort Eagles back in action after a bye week in Week 8, and the Eagles have been rolling so far through region play. Certainly starting to get your eyes on that potential title showdown next week at home against Hingham, but you got to take care of North Charleston first, and I'm pretty sure the Eagles will be ready to roll on the road here as they look to take 71 this season.
Yeah, I imagine Beaufort does roll in this game against North Charleston. North Charleston's having a little bit of consistency issues, I imagine that Casey Fields probably has another big game, and you like to see Samari Bonds really form into the passer that he can be, and even get him on the ground some because he's an athletic guy. There's no reason you can't run with him. So I expect Buford to roll in this game at North Charleston.
Yeah, they'll be rested. I think the question might be how much do you see the field? Do you want to if you get out to a big lead, maybe try to hold him for next week against Tanahan. So you got some other guys who can come out and run the ball. So I expect if they get a sizable advantage, certainly could think about saving some of those starters for the big time game next week. But obviously, you didn't play last week, so you want to make sure you get some guys touches to prepare. And we'll see what Buford does, but it should be and that defense, you have to talk about them too because they have been absolutely elite. Really at all levels. I mean, it starts with that strong veteran leadership with Carter Bowersox and that linebacking play, but then you have Jack Sumner on the line, and then Colton Ferries, who you can kind of make the case he's been the leader of the defense over there in the secondary with his hustle and playmaking, and he can make tackles from anywhere, and such an electric guy over there who does such a great job reading the defense. And I mean, everyone has a role, and it's really it's bigger than some of their parts. And just really impressed by the way they've been able to implement some new pieces, and it's worked incredibly. Dom Camacho with the pick six against Battery Creek, just so many guys balling out for that defense, and you love to see it. So Bryce Lyburn is once again doing a fantastic job, and Buford certainly looking like a state title contender again, this time in Class 3A. So Buford looking to get the 7-1. Ridgeland Hardyville, the Ridgeland Jaguars, 0-8, 0-3 in region play, but it's going to come down to this for the Jags going to Edisto, and this is a game they can win. Edisto at 0-2, Ridgeland 0-3. Looks like this will decide that fourth and final playoff spot. So it's on the line this week for the Ridgeland Jaguars, and this is the moment that they've been working for this season, to have an opportunity to play your way into the playoffs. So if you're Rodney Barr, this team is certainly has to be motivated for this one. I expect them to play all out in this one and take what they've learned from these last few weeks against some quality teams and see what they can do. And I have full confidence that Ridgeland will battle for 48 minutes and then look to grab that last playoff spot.
Yeah, Ridgeland has players. It's not like they don't have the skill level to do it. They just need to all put it together at the right time. And I think this Edisto game is actually a really good game for them to actually do it. So I would like to see them get the win at Edisto. Both teams are over in the region. So this is really a big game for Ridgeland and Edisto. So I think you're going to see a little bit of a battle here.
Yeah, both teams are going to want this one, and man, it would be amazing to see Ridgeland pull this one out. Just the excitement from that team, and all the work that they put in. I mean, this is the game that they're eyeing, and I have full confidence that they're going to fight hard all game long for an opportunity to win this game, and I think they have a chance to pull it out. So we wish the Ridgeland Jaguars the best of luck and keep chopping all the way to Edisto as you look to get that win that will put you in the postseason. And going down to Class 1A, the Whale Branch Warriors with a really impressive win last week. And, because Allendale Fairfax, a team that has been on the up and up and has made some trouble against some squads recently. So Whale Branch 21-0 shutout. A lot of good to take away there from the Warriors at home against Branchville, 0-3 in the region. So looking like a solid matchup for the Warriors to improve the 3-1 here in region play.
Yeah, anytime you can shut somebody out, it doesn't really matter who it's against. That's just impressive by the defense. And then I do expect Whale Branch to probably win big here. I've got to see Branchville play. They're pretty down this year. Very unusual for Branchville to be down. They've usually been a good contender in the 1A slate. But I do expect Whale Branch to roll here.
And finally, wrapping up the South Carolina High School League slate, the Estill Gators, who maybe have been the story of Class 1A so far, off to an amazing 7-1 start. They're 3-0. They've been knocking off some great teams, including Manberg Earhart, and now they should roll once again. They had the Bethany Bowman just 1-7 overall, 0-3 in region play, and I expect Estill to be on their top of the game once again this week and pick up another win. And I just really love the way this team plays. They're such a hard-nosed football team that I think is designed to win the playoffs and maybe take this one all the way.
Yeah, you would love. I mean, it's awesome to see how Essel's doing this year. It's almost a magical season, you know. Um, Bethune Bowman really not having the best year. They have not had consistency in the past. If you're Essel, you don't want to sleep on this game. You know, you never want to sleep on one game. But Essel is going to probably come out on top here and be 8-1 going into the next week.
I just love the way they play on the offensive line, and it's really been fun to watch this team develop. And they've got some excellent playmakers that have really done some great work for that Estill team. And it's really cool to see the growth of football in Hampton County. And we mentioned this at the top, but with Estill, Wade Hampton, and Patrick Henry, who we'll get to later. And I'm just really excited because all three of these teams are capable of some deep playoff runs, and Estill's had a terrific year over there in Class 1A, and I'm just very excited about them. I mean, the expectations weren't as high, but Xavier Garvin has just been a dude. We've talked about the Lamar Jackson comparisons. Really excellent runner, and he's been able to do some damage in the passing game as well. And some of the skill position players have really stepped up, and it's D'Angelo Lewis has done some things over there at wide receiver, and we've seen some production in the ground game as well from a couple guys, including Xavier Garvin, who leads the team in rush with 526 yards, and then you got Jamil Bobian, who's had a nice year, but then Matt Defense is a star of this team as well. Absolutely love the effort, flying all over the field, and they have been on these last games. They have yet to allow more than 16 points in their last 5 matchups. So outstanding work from this Estill team. And I think, once again, this is just a team that's designed to win the playoffs. So really excited for the Gators and just Hampton County football in general. So, all right, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with the Skeeza previews here in Week 9 on the Lowco Pigskin Preview.
This podcast is made possible by our sustaining sponsors. Our original sponsor, Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate attorneys of LowcoSports.com. Go see Ryan and Tiffany and the Mickle Squad for all your legal needs and support the local businesses that support Lowco. Local Pie, official pizza sponsor of Lowco Sports. They sling the best pies in Bluffton and on Hilton Head, but don't sleep on the mac and cheese. Star Home Services, official residential cleaning service of Lowco Sports. Sometimes you just don't want to clean. Call on Carla and her amazing team to do the dirty work at a great price and tell them Lowco sent you. 843 Sport, the official training center of Lowco Sports. No matter your game, 843 Sport is the place to take it to the next level. They're bringing all the area's top trainers and some of the best elite travel teams from various sports under one roof at 843 Sport. DDS Web Design, the official SEO experts of Lowco Sports. If you have a business and you want to get found, look no further than DDS. They can build an attractive and effective website loaded with all the cutting-edge SEO tools you need to show up where people are looking, on Google. Dave and Denise will get it done. Additional support provided by Cannon Specialty Services, Bluffton Pest Control, Next Move, The Fit Club in Belfairtown Village, and our Patreon members. Join today for $1 or more per month at patreon.com/LowcoSports to get early or exclusive access to our local sports content and exclusive Lowco swag. And thank you to our past recurring sponsors, including Horizon Rehabilitation and Physical Therapy, Coastal Plains Insurance of the Lowcountry, 4M Metals, Hilton Head Insurance and Brokerage, Brody's Bar and Grill, and AGC Gutter Company. Thank you for supporting our mission to create quality local sports content that celebrates our teams and athletes. Go Lowco!
All right, we are back to look at our Skeeza slate here in Week 9 and a couple of big Lowco on Lowco matchups. And let's start with the Bluffton showdown at Hilton Head Christian Academy. The Eagles coming off a tough defeat where they fought hard against PD Academy to welcome in the John Paul II Golden Warriors and JP2 43-6 winners over Northwood Academy. And I think this is a get-right game for HHCA after falling short to PD Academy. And not going to be easy because JP2 has one of the most electric playmakers in all of Skeeza with Christian Tilton, who has just been Terry ran for 185 yards and 3 touchdowns last week over Northwood. He is very tough to stop with his speed and agility and elusiveness out there. So Hillhead Christian's defense will certainly have the work cut out for him, but I really like the way this Mac Smith's group is playing, especially, they did a great job against PD Academy, allowed just 26 to an offense that is one of the best in all of Skeeza. So I think Hillhead Christian, still got to be feeling confident if you're that defense, and another tough challenge here, but I expect the Eagles to rise to the occasion. But your thoughts on what should be another great local battle?
Yeah, you can't say enough about what Hilton Head Christian's defense really did against PD, especially in the second half, only letting up 7 points. But I think this is a game where if you let John Paul stay in the game and don't put him away early, this is a game you could potentially be a little too close for comfort.
So I think that you say a lot of it relies on maybe Dylan Clark's ability to make some plays early in the pocket, because Clark has been an absolute revelation for this HHEA team. Wasn't really entirely sure what we would get out of him, but he is turning into a kind of a Hayden Shinlight, or like getting into that role as a strong pocket passer. Could also do some damage on the ground, but he's got a great touch on his balls. He can throw the deep pass. He can make plays on the run. He's really turned into a confident and poised quarterback, and one of the best I've seen this year in Skeeza, which is a testament to what he has done to improve his game to that level, and the coaching staff that has done a great job really embracing him and growing up and bringing him up to speed on this offense. So I'm really impressed by Dylan Clark, and I think his play could be a big factor of how the early part of this game goes for the Eagles, and I expect them to have another solid showing.
Yeah, he has really stepped in and been the man, to be honest. The first 2 weeks of the season weren't the greatest, but after that, he's stepped up and he can sling it. I mean, that kid's got a great arm. But don't sleep on John Paul too with Christian Tilton. On the ground, triple option is really tricky to defend, but I think Hilton Head Christian is going to end up doing well with it by the defense they run and just how hard they play. So I would like to see John Paul stay in this game, but I think with Dylan Clark and how explosive and how fast offense can score, I think it's going to roll that way.
I think you could see it one of two ways. I could definitely see Hilton Head Christian Academy using that explosive offense to get in the ends a couple times in the first quarter and pull away 35 or so at halftime. But, John Paul II, if they can get some stops and do a good job methodically moving the football down the field and having some long drives, this could be a close game in the second half. So we'll have to see what JP2 does coming out of the gates here. I think the start's a huge factor of what the outcome will be. And, what a great quarterback matchup. I mean, Christian Tilton and Dylan Clark, if you're a Skeeza football fan, I mean, that's exactly what you want, two electric offensive playmakers and some guys in the supporting cast and some skill position players like Caden Turner, who is such an athletic beast over there, wide receiver. It seems like he's scored a touchdown every game this year. Grilled and Chris Kemi, Isaiah Anderson, what a terrific playmaker as well. Just some great height and athleticism, and that using that frame to advantage, made a big touchdown catch in that win over Thomas Hayward, and Gabe Detalokin. He's really coming to his own. A nice playmaker with the ball in his hands. Got some nice quickness. So they've got some athletes who have they really been able to move into different roles in this offense and really emerge as some solid playmakers when they get the ball in their hands. So they certainly have the guys and they've proven it. Dylan Clark's really been the star of the show, but the offensive playmakers have really come to their own as well. So and once again, that defense, I just love the way they play. A bunch of junkyard dogs, I say it all year, but Matt Smith, this year might be one of the most impressive years we've seen just because of all they've lost. But Matthew Scarp is a big part of that, and James Crosby's had a fantastic year as well. And don't sleep on Tucker Tivapal. He just continues to make plays, picking off passes, does a great job in coverage, and an excellent punter as well who can flip field position. So what a huge asset to have on your team. And it should be a great game. I expect Hilton and Christian County to pull away, but JP2 certainly has the explosiveness with Christian Tilton to respond to HHEA on offense. And but I do think that Christian County defense will step up in some big moments and make some big plays, whether it's forcing turnovers or making stops on fourth down. So I expect Hilton Head Christian to come out on top here, but it's possible if JP2 can execute that game plan of running the ball, moving the ball down the field methodically with Chris Tilton, with Tony Hill, who's been a nice runner for them as well, and kind of needs some good blocking from the line to make that happen, which is tough against Matthew Scarpa and those beasts who just keep getting better on the line. So going to be a great game. And speaking of great games, we have ourselves an outstanding one over in Buford Academy, which is looking at a potential region title clash in Class 2A. It's Giza Buford Academy coming off just an enormous win at home over Thomas Hayward, finally taking down the Rebels. They will welcome in Colleton Prep, who has just written a phenomenal story, 8-0, and have their eyes set on a region title of their own. What a matchup here in Skiza 2A. Colleton Prep, led by the incredible Cole Davis, who just has racked up yards on the ground and has also performed well as a pocket passer. And then BA, what a big win last week. Devontae Green, Jackson Porter, the 1-2 punch on offense. Then Braden Deneen, what an exceptional leader on the offensive side. And both defenses have some guys who can step up. So I'm excited to see how this unfolds. This is a game I've been circling for the last couple of weeks, and here we are. And just your thoughts on what should be a very fun matchup in Skiza 2A.
Well, you look at it like this, Buford Academy has been battle tested and won, their last 4 or 5 games. And then Colleton Prep, not to take away from anything, they've had a spectacular season coming in 8-0, but they haven't had to face that adversity like BA has, or they haven't had a loss yet. But I do expect Cole Davis and Caleb Davis to really get it going on the ground and in the air. And, expect Noah Callerton to have a big game for the Colleton Prep defense, because Buford does like to run the ball, so you're going to see a lot of those box players getting in there. But then again, for Buford, you have a lot of playmakers too. This game's really a toss-up. Between Braden Deneen, Jackson Porter, Devontae Green, Tyshawn Hayward, this game could go either which way.
Yeah, I think the play on the line is going to be important for who comes out on top. BA's run game has been really efficient when Porter and Green have been given room. And don't sleep on Deneen. He's definitely got the ability to make some throws. Certainly his teammates are going to have to execute better. We saw a couple drops and fumbles, but they really got going late. And a big game from Zeke Gonzalez on both sides. And the fact they still won this with all they had to overcome, it just speaks to their grit of these guys, especially those 2 runners and the line to get going on the end. And then Porter and Green really dominated down the stretch. But we've got some talented guys in both these offenses, of course. Cole and Caleb Davis, 2 big names for Colleton Prep, but don't sleep on Caden Crosby. He had a really nice year at wide receiver, been able to stretch the defense. And which team will hit on those explosive plays that could really be a difference in this game. And love that you mentioned Noah Carrington, because we've given so much love to the offense, but the defense has been relentless as well for Colleton Prep, and Carrington has really been the spark to that big-time veteran presence on the defensive side. Really like the way he plays. Just a hard-nosed football player, and just really the heart and soul of that unit. And but Colleton Prep, what a great story. Defying expectations all the way through, and now they'll get a chance at basically securing a region title if they can beat BA. And very excited to get a report on that one. And then we'll have Justin Jarrett over there on Ladies Island. And something you mentioned, Dylan, about Colleton Prep, they haven't been tested recently in close games. So can they capture that mindset to get done in the clutch? A lot could come down to the defenses and which one could get that stop. And, it could be either one. And BA got it done last week. Zeke Gonzalez, the big play man with an interception playing center field. And Braden Deneen, he never quits with his hustle and motor. He is simply relentless out there. And then you got Catterton, Walker Nettles, 2 for Colleton Prep, 2 veteran anchors. So going to be a heck of a battle over in Buford with the region title implications on the line. Moving on, the team that BA beat this past week, Thomas Hayward, back home to face Pinewood Prep, a rare 2-game losing skid after falling to Hilton Head Christian Academy and Buford Academy, 2 quality teams, of course. And then now they come back home in what they're hoping to be a get-right game. They're taking on a Pinewood team that certainly should be slept on. Explosive passing offense that Pinewood has that should test Rebels on Friday night. So I'm interested to see how this one goes. I think Hayward should be motivated after losing 2 straight, now coming back home, and could be a much-needed game to win and get back on track here.
Yeah, I think Thomas Hayward matches up really well with Pinewood. Pinewood does like to throw the ball, and they have a little rushing attack, but their main thing is, throwing the ball. And then, you got Cutter Williams out there defending, and even Tyson Mansell on the defensive side of the ball. And then again, on the offense, you have Anthony Fripp, Dietrich Schuford, and Tyson Mansell, and even Cutter. So you have weapons all around the field. And I think Thomas Hayward. I think this is a little bit of a get-right game with him. I think Thomas Hayward's going to be able to run the ball really well against Pinewood and defend the pass.
Yeah, Carter Williams really impressed me on both sides of the ball. Had a long touchdown catch and also picked off a pass. And he's got some excellent quickness. He knows the system really well. Such an electric receiver who can stretch the defense. And Dietrich Schufert has been battling. I mean, tough last 2 weeks. But, I mean, he's proven he can hang with the best. And he's never out of it. Even against these 2A and 3A teams before they get ready for the 1A playoffs, which they should be the heavy favorite for. So while these games matter in a sense, they also know that it's the games in November that count the most. And Schufert will use these setbacks to thrive then for sure. So, I mean, just a sophomore, but so much veteran feel around him already. I went to both those last 2 games and it looked like they were out of it at times, but Schufert just kept finding ways to stay in it. But he's a budding star. Carter Williams is a dude, and so is Tyshawn Mansell. I mean, he can make plays on the outside of the speed. You can put him under center at Wildcat, and he'll produce a very athletic, such a dynamic offense with him involved. And great to have another guy who can step up on the offensive side. And that offense should get rolling on Friday for a Hayward team looking to snap that losing skid. But, Pinewood Prep, Asa Wyndham, mentioned him last week. He's had a nice season coming in as a sophomore, taking the reins over there. And they've got some speedy guys like Shane DeRay at wideout. So Thomas Hayward's defense going to have to be at the top of their game. And I expect the Rebels to come out with some fire on Friday night and get back in the win column and end that losing streak. Cross Schools is back in action at the Kings Academy. It's the first year of 11-man football for Cross, and been a tough road for them in 2022, but they continue to improve, and another opportunity to pick up that first win on Friday against the Lions. And you think this could be the week, Dylan?
Yeah, and this is really a game where you can win. Kings Academy hasn't performed the best this season or in the past. But if not, it's another game to get younger guys reps, just to build for next year.
In our final excuse of game of the week, Patrick Henry coming back from the bye, sitting at 5-2, hosting 1-5 Andrew Jackson Academy. And Dylan, I got to chat with Coach Peoples and some of the Patrick Henry players last week, and it's been an amazing story for the Patriots. The first year back in 11-man football since the 1990s. And, these guys are excited and they're motivated to get back at it. And they think they have a real opportunity to take this thing deep in the 1A playoffs. And Hugh Ferry, from what I've heard, is very close to returning. And there's a possibility that he could be back this week. But, even when he hasn't been out there, this team has been rolling. And I think it should stay that way this week. There's a temptation to look ahead to next week and Thomas Hayward. But if Patrick Henry, if they execute what they've been doing so far this year, it should be another win for the Patriots.
Yeah, this is a big rivalry game. Patrick Henry and Andrew Jackson, they've been going at it for years. Andrew Jackson's, got a lot of size, and they're not as bad as their record shows, and they really do like to run the ball. I mean, just 3 yards carry, and that's all they want to get. So I think they match up well with Patrick Henry. They're not too spread out, and Patrick Henry likes to stay in the box and, get guys in the box and stop people. That's what they did against Dorchester, and I think they'll end up doing that again this week at Andrew Jackson, and they should roll.
Yeah, we'll see if Hugh Ferry comes back, but if not, Michael Tucker Mathis has done an incredible job filling in, and he's brought a lot of athleticism to that quarterback position. An excellent season so far for Patrick Henry. Been really fun to cover him this year, and that defense has been tough as nails so far as well. I'm really excited to see him in a big matchup next week, and maybe even a preview of a big postseason game too between Patrick Henry and Thomas Hayward. So they'll play in Week 10 at Hayward. Excited for that one, but still business to be taken care of for both these teams first. Well, that wraps up the Skis slate. So only one thing left to do, Dylan, and that is, of course, to look back one more time at Week 8 and choose our players of the week. Dylan, you get the first pick this week. Who do you got?
Well, this kid has been doing it all season, and it just shows. I picked Christian Tilton as my player of the week. He had 185 rushing yards with 3 touchdowns. He was 3 for 5 on passing with 92 yards and a touchdown. Then he also had 3 tackles and a tackle for loss. He only ran the ball 8 times. So if you do the math, he's averaging over 23 yards per carry or something around that range. So just to do that against anybody, that shows how well he's performing and how hard he's playing.
Yeah, that's a great pick. What a season that Christian Tilton has been having for the JP2 Golden Warriors. Got to see him at person against Hilton at prep and just really impressed by his electric running. He just zooms past the line, and he's a threat to score on any play. And, I love the effort that he brings to defense as well. You love to see those two-way players, and he is all hustle all the time. You mentioned 3 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 2 pass breakups. So And, I think if he can really take to the next level at quarterback and improve his accuracy, he could be a force. And, he's still got some time left. I mean, Christian Tilton is going to be a star here for John Paul II. And it's just been fun watching his development over these last few years. So excited to see him as he continues his career at G2. And it's been really fun to watch his competes. And, Chris Myers has himself a heck of a playmaker. So a great season so far for Christian Tilton, and I think it should only continue. Childress Jr. is another go after this one, so great pick there for Tilton. And for my player of the week, I will head to May River and go with Jaden Jones, the veteran running back for the Sharks. 14 carries, 123 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Also added a tackle on defense in a win over Carleton County last week. He has meant so much. He's really been the rock of this team on both sides of the ball these last few years. He's a terrific linebacker as well, who reads plays well, flies to the football, and a really tough runner who can pick up chunks of yardage for you on offense. So he has really been a big factor on both sides of the ball, and expect him to have a lot of workload. And once again, in a big rivalry game over Bluffton, but one of the most reliable players on your team who can do so many things and love his compete and hustle out there, and just a fun player to watch over the years, and just to document and see his development. So what a great guy to have as the rock of your team. And Jaden Jones, look at him for having another impactful week as he takes on the Bluffton Bobcats here in the hometown showdown.
Yeah, it's awesome to see a guy have, over 10 carries with 123 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's really just putting his team on his back and saying, I'm going to do this for you. So it's great to have a kid like that. You always, as a coach, you want kids like that will do it for you. So that's awesome to see.
Yeah, he's a gamer out there. Just love his compete and his fight. And, he's taken so many different roles, playing both ways, and he's really excelled in them all, and just steps up when his team needs him to. And I think he's going to do it again in a rivalry showdown this week against the Bobcats, and I will be there. I am so excited. This is the first Bluffton May River game I've been able to get to, so I am pumped. It's going to be a heck of a showdown with some huge playoff implications on the line, and that's a story because we are only 2 weeks out from the start of the playoffs, both in the high school league and in Skiza. We are coming close to the end of the regular season. This has been a fun year. Really enjoyed working with you so far, Dylan Price, and excited for some more fun weeks ahead.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I'm excited to see how these playoffs shape up and see who really makes it and who's real.
Well, that will do it for this week's edition of the Pigskin Preview here for Week 9. We thank you for joining us, and if you're able to get some footage of the game this week, feel free to send us the video. We'd definitely appreciate it, and we're looking forward to tracking down all the scores and stats from Week 9, and we'll recap it here on Friday night around 11:15 for Lowco Pigskin Live. So we will see you then. For Dylan Price, this is Wes Kerr. Thanks for joining us. And until kickoff, go Lowco.